Hello everybody and welcome back once again to the 2-Minute Drill, our Week 4 recap show. My name is Corbin Thompson. Glad you could be here, of course, at Lexy.com. And if you're watching on Facebook at our 2-Minute Drill page, it's facebook.com/Lexy2MD. And well, as you guys can see on Facebook, I'm in my Giants jersey here, and you know, for once they gave me good reason to wear it. So we'll get to that in a minute. But in any event, a few surprises here in Week 4, I thought, and you know, when I originally looked at Week 4, you know, there were a couple of games, you know, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and the intrigue with Philly and Washington, which, you know, turned out to be not so much. But there were a couple of games that kind of, you know, come out at you, but you know, for the most part, you know, kind of a whole hum. But as it turned out, you know, there was, you know, quite a few upsets here in Week 4, a big week as far as the NFL goes. A few upsets, and wouldn't you know it, who would have thought, if you had said 4 weeks ago that the Kansas City Chiefs would be the last unbeaten team in the NFL, people would have looked at you, you know, like you needed your head examined. And so Casey Boyd and his Chiefs standing tall at 3-0. They did have a bye this week, so take that into account. But nonetheless, and hey, you know, that's why they play the games, as they say. So here we go. I'll run down the phone number, 415-322-9919, and you can press the number 8 to subscribe, press the number 2 to leave a voice comment. That reminds me, we have our 600 subscribers now for 2MD. So I just wanted to say personally thanks to all you guys for listening, and especially the guys that voice comment. You know, and I've said this story before that, you know, if it wasn't for Tony Levitan, there would be no 600 subscribers or 2MD. So I'm just glad to be a small part of it. You know, I'm just kind of the conduit that you know, the information goes from one end to the other. So that's pretty much what I do. But anyway. So, with that being said, the website is 2-Minute Drill, the number 2, 2minutedrill.lexy.com. So, let's do it right now. Here we go, week number 4 in the NFL, and we're going to start with the Jets and Buffalo. The Jets, you just got this one running away, 38-14 over the Bills. LaDainian Tomlinson looked like his old self, 155 yards from scrimmage, 2 touchdowns, 21 points the Jets scored in the third quarter to put this one away. So, the Bills are at 0-4 right now, and so the Jets are looking pretty good. Cincinnati and Cleveland, and this one, we talked about this on Thursday, that, you know, Cleveland needed the win in the worst way, particularly Eric Mangini, and sure enough, you figured maybe it's not a shock to some people that they knocked off the Bengals here. You know, I mean, who knows? 23-20 is your final. Peyton Hillis, 27 carries, 102 yards with a touchdown. Carson Palmer, 25-36 for 371 and 2 touchdowns. So I guess, you know, that's for Cincinnati. That's on the Cincinnati side. But congratulations to Cleveland, I guess, you know, as they knock off the Bengals. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. This one was a pick'em game, really, and the Ravens take it 17-14. They knock Pittsburgh from the unbeaten ranks. So Pittsburgh, their Steelers, their luck runs out. They'll have Big Ben will be eligible to play next week. Now, whether or not he does is a different matter, but he'll at least be off of his suspension. So Baltimore, anyway, gets the win, a big AFC North win. So Joe Flacco to TJ Houshmandzadeh for the winning touchdown with 32 seconds left in the game, and that was the difference for Baltimore. Denver and Tennessee and the Broncos, 26-20 winners over the Titans here. Kyle Orton, 35-50, threw it 50 times for 341 yards with a pair of touchdowns. And even though Denver only had 19 yards on the ground, they were still able to pull this one out over the Titans. Detroit and Green Bay, the Lions gave the Packers a battle here. Green Bay coming off of that loss last Monday night to the Bears. They win this one 28-26, so the Packers go to 3-1. Charles Woodson, his 10th career interception return for a touchdown, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's 3rd all time. Now, the Packers had a 28-14 lead in this one, turned the ball over 4 times, but still won the game. So, you know, Detroit is 0-4 and still haven't won a game on the road in forever. San Francisco and Atlanta. Now, the Falcons, you know, they upended New Orleans, so you figure the Falcons would roll here over the 49ers. At least I did. I said on Thursday that this one had 35-0 written all over it, but The Falcons just getting by here, 16-14 over the Niners. Matt Bryant, a 43-yard field goal with 2 seconds left to win it. Now, this was after a San Francisco interception. The problem was, on the run back on the interception, there was a fumble where the Falcons recovered it. Otherwise, San Francisco would have probably held on and won the game. But Atlanta comes up with the last-second field goal. They overcome a 14-0 deficit to do it. So the Falcons now 3-1 in San Francisco. A horrible loss for them at 0-4. Carolina and New Orleans, the Saints rebound with a 16-14 win over the Panthers. John Carney had 3 field goals in this one, and this was a funny one because I told Ender, Ender, one of our callers who's a Saints fan, he had asked me about Garrett Hartley and whether or not the Saints should look at another kicker, and I was telling him, Garrett Hartley's not even a year removed from a Super Bowl. Why mess with it? Leave it alone. But the Saints obviously felt different. They brought in John Carney, and he comes in and he was spending time with his kids a week ago, and here he is kicking 3 field goals for the Saints to help them beat Carolina 16-14. Now Seattle and St. Louis. This one certainly didn't turn out the way I thought it would. St. Louis 20-3 over the Seahawks, and you got to start wondering about Seattle a little bit. But back-to-back wins for the Rams for the first time in 2 years. Steven Jackson moves to number 2 on the all-time rushing list behind Marshall Faulk for the Rams. So good win at least for St. Louis. Indianapolis and Jacksonville. This might be the upset of the day here. There were a number of them, but this one, Jacksonville 31, Indianapolis 28. The Colts fall to 2-2, and Josh Scobie with a 59-yard field goal. If I heard right, it's the 3rd longest as far as a game-winning field goal in NFL history. A 59-yarder with no time left. Maurice Jones-Drew at 105 yards with a touchdown for the Jaguars. A big win for them down in the AFC South. Houston and Oakland, the Texans. Speaking of the AFC South, 31-24 winners over the Raiders. And for this one, Houston, for the first time ever, 3-1 in club history. Arian Foster, who missed a team practice and had to ride the bench in the first quarter, 16 carries, 131 yards with a touchdown. So no harm, no foul, right? Washington and Philadelphia. Of course, this one was the Donovan McNabb Bowl, but the numbers don't quite, kind of a lackluster type of game, but the Skins come away with it, 17-12. Michael Vick left this game after he got crunched with a rib and chest injury. He got sandwiched in between 2 Redskin defenders and had to leave the game. So the future of the Philly QB situation, very unknown. Kevin Kolb had to come in, but nonetheless, Washington wins at 17-12, and they had a 14-0 lead in this game, and they hold on. Arizona and San Diego, all Chargers in this one, 41-10 over the Cardinals. Derek Anderson, 5 interceptions in his last 3 games, which put him on the bench. Antonio Gates becomes the 7th tight end in NFL history with 500 receptions. Mike Tolbert, 16 carries, 100 yards with a touchdown for the Chargers. And then the Sunday night game, the Giants, 17-3 winners over the Bears, and in this one, 9 sacks of Jay Cutler in the first half of the Giants, the 9th one knocking him out of the game with a concussion. The Bears actually had to go to their 3rd-string quarterback late in this one. Ahmad Bradshaw, 23 carries, 129 yards, a career high with a touchdown. And we talked about Jay Cutler, but also 3 Bears turnovers, 110 yards of total offense for the Bears, and it's a little bit of concern in Chicago. Now, as far as the Giants go, you know what? This is what I was talking about with Giants football. This is Giants football. The defense showed up, and so I have no complaints tonight. I can't say a single thing. I mean, during the course of a game, no matter who your team is, you're going to get annoyed at delay of game penalties, things like that. But overall, I have no complaints about the Giants this week. They did what they needed to do. And as I said on Thursday, these are the types of games that the Giants predictably will win because they're not supposed to. This was a game where the Bears were coming in at 3-0. They were on a roll. The Giants were reeling at 1-2. A lot of talk in the papers and on talk radio and stuff like that. And sure enough, just as their track record has shown over the years, this is a game that now who knows what happens the rest of the way, but the Giants are 2-2. Bears fall to 3-1. And of course, the Monday night game, New England and Miami in the AFC East. New England, both teams are 2-1, so we'll see what happens there. But that takes care of business. Of course, we still have our Monday night contest going on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lexy2MD. I put the post up already, so anybody that wants to in for the Monday night contest, you can put winning team, winning score, gets a $25 restaurant certificate for restaurant.com and King James Express, www.jamesisking.com. So, with that being said, of course, the bye week, I should throw that in before we go. Dallas, Kansas City, Minnesota, and Tampa Bay all with bye weeks. So Casey, Boy, Fred, and Lloyd got to chill out for this week. But I guess with the bye week starting, everything else is going to be thrown off as far as records and whatnot are concerned. But we'll deal with that along the way. So until Thursday, when we preview week number 5 in the NFL. Thanks to you guys for listening, all 600 of you, and so looking for 400 more to get to 1,000 by the end of the season. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I'm Corbin Thompson. Good night, Godspeed. Thanks for listening to 2 Minute Drill.